Hi, my name is Emily Iannelli, and I'm doing this video because I'm very upset, extremely upset, especially in the wake of my car accident 3 weeks ago. I even made a post on my Facebook page. That's how upset I am. I'm sick of my family, not my family. I'm sick of my sisters. I'm sick of most, but not all, but most of my family relatives that I'm connected with on Facebook. I'm so sick of the treatment, the ignoring, the meanness, the ignorance. It seems they're part of the transphobia population of people. My sister's transphobic. My family relatives, transphobic. They don't want anything to do with me. They think that I'm crazy because I'm male to female transgender, something that I've lived with for most of my life. I'm just fed up with people who are transphobic. You know, I don't criticize people. I was raised to be a good, kind, caring person. But when people act in ways where they would rather see us disappear, for instance, our president, and I'm not going to get into politics, but I'll be brief, because when he did by tweet banning military personnel from the military, stating that they are not they're not relevant in serving in the military because they're too preoccupied with their gender transition, and most would bankrupt the military for their costs of transgender surgeries. How absurd is that? So the prejudice president, transphobic hater, wanted to make it a point, and he did it the most cowardly way by tweeting that military soldiers who identify as transgender be banned from service. The ones that are in service must leave. No pension, no mention of honorable discharge, just thrown out as if they were garbage. No respect, nothing. And these are people that served their country with pride. And just because they identify as transgender, the president is going to criticize them when he's a 6-time draft dodger. How absurd is that? You know, we're a country that's supposed to understand people, accept people, be kind to people no matter what their circumstance is. And I'm just fed up because it even translates down to my family, my relatives, my sisters. I had a really bad accident 3 weeks ago, and I'm not over dramatizing it. I literally thought I might die in this accident. And I was lucky that I avoided the car in front of me, because I did not have my brakes, the combination of the accelerator, the brakes, whatever. It just failed totally on me. I had no control of that car, and I crashed into trees. You think my sisters would even ask if I was okay? That would be one of the first things I would do if I found that out about my sisters. You know, they see my posts and all, but they're more embarrassed about me because I'm transgender, and they write me off from the family because of that. I am so fed up right now. I could literally scream. And the only way I can cool down and calm down is to write my feelings out, to let people know that even family can be transphobic. And I am angry enough to make a video such as this because I think it's outrageous. I think that people like myself are good people. I'm also fed up with the way I've been treated in the past with regard to my working career before I even came out, because I was a shy person, but I did my work. I was loyal, I was respectful, and I was dedicated, even though I had a son who was autistic, and I had to spend hours upon hours during tax season, slaving away, doing tax returns, because I had to meet unrealistic deadlines. And it really messed me up psychologically. And my son needing all the concern that as as an autistic child, special needs care and needs people to show love. And I couldn't do that because I was dim most of the time in the office, and I got burnt out because of it. And then I asked my partner, the CPA partner in the firm, if I could make a move to one of their clients. And I took a job where it actually was worse. Not demanding like the CPA firm during tax season, but I had to work 6 days a week. I was looking to get a little bit more less stress. Yet I have my son, and he was young, and I'm working 6 days a week. And I just couldn't take it, you know? And then when I, after almost 2 years there, came out as transgender, they really wanted no part of me. And the CPA firm at least tried and got me a position in the city, working for a doctor's office who supposedly was open to my situation. And I worked hard. I did what I had to do. I tried to establish models of accounting procedures within this kind of office structure, within a pediatrics office with multiple locations. But they never involved me in business meetings, never gave me a telephone. I had to literally fight to get a phone. I was surrounded by kids to the left of me, to the right of me, mostly going to college. And I had no support whatsoever, just these young kids. And I was thrown into this situation. And I have my son that's on my mind. And he's up at school far away, and he's on my mind. And the practice manager said, "Oh, you're going to be a perfect fit here. We're going to get along well." She couldn't have been more wrong. She lied to me. She gets upset because I put something on my things to do shelf, and she flipped out when she saw that I hadn't completed a report that wasn't even due for another few weeks, and I was planning to get to it, but I was working on other pressing matters and learning the computer software and making sure things were accounted properly with the monies extended by the health insurance programs. And then we had to allocate it properly. And then she takes this out on me, and I don't know if she had a discussion with the owner, but all of a sudden she yells at me and she says, "I want you to go home and think about what you just did." The next day she comes to me and she sits down with me and said, "It's not working out." And she said, "We're going to let you work 2 more weeks, and then you get paid for the rest of the month," which is approximately 2 more weeks. So I was very upset. I didn't know how to react. I knew I had lots of things to worry about now because I had mortgage to pay. I had lots of things to worry about, and I had my son. I literally had to make drastic decisions. But I had the previous night, when I came back to the office after that conversation, didn't get much sleep because my son was having a difficult time. And it was a nightmare. I couldn't sleep. So I went to work. I got there like 5 minutes late. And she even said, "Why are you late?" And I felt like I'm not a vengeful person. I'm not a violent person. But when she asks me why I'm 5 minutes late, when she knows that they're terminating me, I felt like but I would never do it. But I felt like I wanted to punch her in the face. That's how mad she got me. And so when I turned around to express my feelings, I must have been so upset, and the fact that I didn't sleep, I fainted. And then they had to get someone to help get me on the couch. And next thing I know, I'm being brought up on a stretcher and brought to Bellevue Hospital. And then I forgot my jacket in all the commotion, but they wouldn't let me get off the couch. They got me water, and they were checking up on me. But it was horrible. I was there 6, maybe 7 months, treated they treated me poorly. When the CPA firm said that they were going to be treating you nicely, and you just work with us and we'll help you set up accounting systems, which was also a lie. They hardly even came. They came once a month, and they threw me right into the mix, trying to figure out, and there was nobody qualified to help me, and the owner didn't even speak to me, and they didn't even allow me to participate in business meetings. And like I said, they didn't even give me a phone. So I'm just fed up with the world that we live in. I'm fed up with discrimination. I'm fed up with the way I'm treated by even my sisters and family relatives who supposedly we're connected on Facebook. I feel like just blocking them all, with few exceptions, because there are some of my family relatives who do care, but for the most part, none of the others care, not even my 2 sisters. And I think it's a crime. And I'm very sick of this country, where I feel like I want to leave already. I want to get out of this country, because I cannot stand this president, and I cannot deal with the prospect of him serving another 4 years. That would be my ultimate nightmare, because they want to slash social entitlements that we all pay into. They want to slash Social Security disability, Medicare, Medicaid for the poor who have children. They want to slash food stamps. They want to take away all those benefits, because they were more concerned about putting our country into trillion-dollar deficits so they could give tax breaks to the very wealthiest of people and to corporations, while they make us the lower echelon of society, the middle class, even if that still exists, the poor, and the homeless, who don't get any relief whatsoever, even if they served in Vietnam. It is just terrible the way this country is going. And the thing I don't understand is how this president can still have 40% of the support of Americans. I just don't get it. I really don't. I can't stand him, because he's a white supremacist, racist, transphobic, minority, woman hater who doesn't care who he hurts. And the guy is on Twitter most of the day, watching TV, news reports. I mean, he's so obsessed with himself. He's the very definition of narcissistic. And he's causing transgender people to have more of a difficult time today in society, because he's allowing companies who have religious ideals, who don't wish to have people who defy the typical religious standard, such as transgender individuals. So he will make it written into law that they have the right to terminate people who are transgender. Whereas Obama wanted our rights protected. Obama made it possible that transgender people could serve in the military. Under this president, he undid all that Obama tried to do to help us. It is just purely disgusting what's going on in this country right now. And I'm upset because I have lots of things going on. I'm just recovering mentally, luckily not physically because I wasn't injured, luckily. But mentally, I'm still a mess. I had to rent a car, which I was reluctant to do, but I did it after the discussion I had with the claims manager at my auto insurance company. I was then reassured that they would not drop me and that I should start looking for a vehicle because I explained to him that there's no way I can get around without a car, and this car is totaled, and it wasn't even my fault. It seemed to be some form of mechanical failure, but that's left up to the investigators now to try to figure out what happened. I took many pictures of that accident. I even made a video about it. And you think my sisters would reach out to me to see if I was okay? Do you think my family relatives would reach out to me to see if I'm okay? Yet I see some of their posts. I always congratulate my relatives if they gave birth to a child or an older relative whose daughter graduated from medical school, or a younger daughter who's now entering into college. I always extend my congratulations. And if someone in the family passes away, I extend my condolences and sympathies. And my sisters do the same with our relatives. Yet the relatives respond to them, and you'd think they'd respond to me as well? No. There's only one relative and his wife down in South Carolina who respond to me and are concerned about me. Nobody else, no other family relatives but them. My sisters, no, not even them. When I posted I was in a serious car accident, they could care less. If I died, they probably wouldn't even give a damn. And it seems, I look at some of their replies to people like on a post, and I'm sad when I hear it also. When a family loses their dog, of course I'm sad, because dogs are part of a family. We never had that, but I get it. My sister owns dogs, my middle sister. She's got like 4. So I remember when she was upset and she lost her dog, and I extended my sympathies. But it seems they will extend sympathies to someone, a friend or a relative, when they lose their dog. They put this heartwarming post, oh, we're so sorry, you know, we extend our condolences. Yet I get into a horrifying car accident. Do you think they would even ask me if I'm okay? Nothing. Just one cousin reached out to me. The same cousin I told you lives down in South Carolina. He's the only one. And the reason why his wife didn't is because she's in the hospital. But my cousin, knowing that his wife is in the hospital, still was concerned about me. And he's the only one. I'm just fed up. I am fed up. I'm literally fed up with my sisters. I'm fed up with most of my family relatives. I mean, I just don't want to deal with them anymore. And I'm not the type to just ignore things in their lives, happy occasions or sad occasions. I was brought up to be a good person. I was brought up to respect people. If it was the shoe was on the other foot and my sister said she was gay, I wouldn't hold that against her. I wouldn't say, oh my God, you're evil. I don't want you to going and talking to my son anymore. I would never do that. I would embrace them. I would hug them and I would give them my support. You think they did that to me when I came out as transgender? Of course not. They avoided me. They didn't want any contact with me. That's because they don't have a heart. I grew up with the same parents, but I learned to be compassionate. I learned to be kind. Yeah, and I know my sister lost her 26-year-old son, and I know she lost her little baby at birth, and I was sad, and I expressed my sympathies, and I wrote a heartfelt writing in a card, you know, and I was extremely saddened. And when my nephew, 26 years old, died, my sister didn't even invite me to the funeral. She did not even want me to be there because she was embarrassed that I'm transgender. The only way I found out was because she did come to my house, at least with her husband. She had the decency to do that. And she sat me down and she said that Gregory passed away. And I was in shock. I even started to cry. And they said, would you like to come to the cemetery? And I said, of course I would. But I also said, why didn't you invite me to his wake and the funeral? And she says, oh, because we know you're sensitive and we didn't want to upset you. I didn't believe that, but maybe that's true. I don't know, because I am very sensitive. But at least they should have told me. You know, they shouldn't have told me after the fact and after he's already buried in the ground. Things like that really upset me. And I don't think it's right. And I don't think I should be ignored. And I don't think I should be considered a bad influence on families' children. I think that's outrageous. And I have a special needs son. And I love him. And I would never do anything to hurt him. You know, he's got more maturity about my situation than my sisters do. He accepts me, you know, and I'm the one that feels guilty because of my transition with regard to my son. But I'm very upset, and I just don't like when I am treated this way. I've suffered enough, you know, I suffered my whole life. I knew I was different from age 3. And I had to come out. I tried coming out earlier in my life, but I couldn't due to circumstances. Plus, my mom was very ill. My dad was struggling in his job. He either got injured or he lost friends in the business. Even eventually his father and brother died in the business. So he was mentally affected by all that. And he drank to alleviate himself from going crazy. And he wound up in the hospital many times. So my saving grace back then in high school was being a part of the cross-country team and running for Coach Bukowski, who recruited me. That kept me sane. That made me help me to believe in myself, that I could do something, that I could accomplish something. And that stays with me to today. And that was why I was so happy that I got invited to participate in the reunion for the JFK cross-country team in honor of our coach, a special man, Coach Alan J. Bukowski. I owe a lot to him, you know. And he was concerned because we went to his birthday maybe 5 years earlier, and I was dressed as Eddie back then. But he knew I was going through a transition from male to female, and he was very concerned. And he said, are you sure you want to do this? And, you know, he's my coach. You know, I didn't want to sugarcoat it. I just wanted him to know that I'm still the same person. It's just that I struggled all my life, you know. And he hugged me and he said, if you ever need to talk to me, I'm here for you. And when I went to see Coach this past few Sundays ago, the same day I got involved in that accident, it was sad in a way because Coach is losing his memory. And it's sad talking to him because he doesn't have that same, when he was young and being an inspiration to us. He's still an inspiration, but his memory is not what it used to be. And that comes with old age. He's in his 80s now. But he looks great. He's thin. He walks. He can't run anymore, but he does his walking in the mornings. He's the nicest gentleman I've ever met. He's taught all of us that on that cross-country team. We even had a woman on the team, Barbara, and I met all my friends, most of them, at the reunion at Sunken Meadow, 40 years now. And I was having the best time of my life. And they know I'm transgender through Facebook. So it wasn't a big surprise. But they were nice to me. They accepted me. They embraced me. They're not like my sisters. They're not like my family relatives. They were kind, you know, and they weren't just pretending. I could sense that they were really sincere with their acceptance. And I even had a few of my friends come up to me and say, you're really a courageous and inspiring person, and we're very proud of you, and we know your journey's not easy, but you're a good role model to so many out there who are struggling with their gender. And they made me feel so happy, you know. I don't get complimented like that usually, but they made it special to me, and they even went out of their way to come up to me. And some of them, I apologize, but I don't even know who they are, yet they know me, maybe because of my Facebook page, I guess, or YouTube or whatever, but they were very nice to me, as was my teammates, as was Coach and his family, and the daughter who arranged the whole thing. It was wonderful. And my day was great. I couldn't ask for anything better than that. We got to take pictures. We celebrated. We had nice food. They had a spread of heroes, sandwiches, macaroni salad, potato salad, you know, fruit salad. They had alcohol and they had soda. I don't drink alcohol, so I drank Coca-Cola. And then after we exchanged our best wishes for each other, knowing that we all had to go back to our, wherever we live, some came from Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, all over the country. And it was great. And then after we said our goodbyes, I went home and had this unfortunate accident on Hempstead Turnpike with my car. It seemed it had some problems mechanically, and it accelerated and I couldn't stop it. And I could have crashed into a car. Thankfully I didn't, but I had to react, and I veered to my right and wound up crashing into trees. And the last image I had before impact was my son while embracing to die. That's how terrifying this accident was. But I'm here. The problem is that I am still mad that my family, not my immediate family, my wife, my son, I'm talking about my relatives and my sisters, that they didn't even ask if I'm okay. You know, I had pictures up on the Facebook. I'm not looking for pity. I'm not looking for sympathy. But I think a 3-word question would be, okay, are you okay? I didn't even get that from my sisters or family relatives who we're supposedly connected on Facebook. I feel like just blocking them all. That's how, with the exception of my cousin Tom. But everybody else, I just feel like blocking them all. I'm just fed up already. My blood is going to boil. And I'm having surgery on September 10th, provided the insurance goes through. And I'm not scared, you know? I mean, I've been waiting to do this all my life. So I'm not scared, but I am concerned how it's going to play out because of the substantial amount of time that I need to recover, and being in the house all day long and not being able to do much, and having Matthew wanting to do things and not being able to, you know, and my car now. I have a car, it's a nice car, but I still have all this insurance stuff that I have to worry about. You know, I have hospital bills. I still have to pay my mortgage, and that went up. I have to figure out what's going to happen with this loan and how insurance is going to cover it. And I'm worried about my rates, how that's going to impact. And I'm kind of worried that if the rates go up too high and I can't afford it because I have to be concerned more about the mortgage. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Or if, even worse, if they drop me. And this accident wasn't my fault. But who knows what's going to happen. And I project too much. That's my problem. I project. My therapist said I catastrophize. I think of everything that possibly can go wrong. And it seems I've lived like that my whole life, you know? I catastrophize. And sometimes I even think, having the male to female transgender surgery, I even asked the doctor, is there a possibility that I might wake up from the anesthesia as you're doing your surgery? And he said, no, you don't have to worry about that. But that's how my mind works. Like, I have like nightmare that I'm gonna wake up as the surgery is still being performed. And I would be in intolerable pain. You know, I don't know. Sometimes I don't think rationally. And I'm also worried about my inability to work, and that my long-term disability only pays out for a finite time frame. And this house, I can't even do anything to fix it up. And my son is just not really making progress. And I have a high school reunion, 40-year reunion, which I would have liked to go to. But I don't think I will because of my surgery. And even if I did go, I don't know if it would be such a good experience for me. Because I'm, first of all, transgender. I don't know how people are going to receive me. Plus, I see posts of most of my friends from high school, how their kids graduated college, some are in medical school, some have already completed medical school or in residency, some went to architectural school, some are pharmacists, others are teachers, you know, and even my peers. Some of them went to MIT, Harvard, Princeton, Cal Berkeley, Georgia Tech, UNC, Chapel Hill, all these wonderful schools. And I went to NCC, which is okay, Virginia Tech, where I wanted to continue my studies as a mechanical engineering student. But I was overwhelmed. I came home, took a year off, and then went to Hofstra and studied accounting. But I don't have a lot to be proud of. Plus, I don't know how they're going to take to my being transgender. Plus, I think I'm not going to be able to go anyway because of the surgery. I'll still be recovering. So that's why I'm having some difficulties right now. And that's why I go to my psychiatrist more frequently now. And they want to make sure I'm okay to do the surgery because of the recent ordeal I went through. And it's still affecting me. And being ignored by my sisters and my family relatives doesn't help the situation. And I just hate people who are ignorant. And it seems my sisters are ignorant. And one of them so happens to be a nurse, you know? She buries herself into her job because she lost her son. And I guess if I had that chance and that tragedy happened to me, I'd probably do the same thing. But we have to move on in life, as cold as it seems, you know? I mean, I feel bad that she lost her son. I would extend my condolences every day for the rest of my life. But what good is that? You know, I recognize the pain that she goes through. I know it's difficult when you lose a child, especially one who is in his mid-20s and seemed to show promise. And it's not easy even if you lose a baby at birth. So she's been through a lot. But it's like she doesn't accept me, you know, because I'm different. And she's in the medical profession. She's a nurse practitioner, a medical nurse practitioner. So I don't understand why she's not realizing that this is legitimate, that there are people who are transgender. They don't just do it on a whim. They have something wrong with them. It's a scientific fact that there's something with the brain chemistry or the hormones when a woman gives birth. And it's proven, you know, that's why there are so much more transgender people now than you heard maybe in my generation. And it's prevalent, you know. And doctors are training now to be more expert in dealing with transgender because it's affecting young kids now too. I'm talking about kids that are 8, 9, 10, all throughout their teens, you know. The celebrity, what's her name? Jazz. I Am Jazz. Jazz Jennings. She had her surgery last year. And she's 17. Kids are getting surgeries much younger. She went on blockers and estrogen when she was like 12 or 13 years old. So it just amazes me how much ignorance and hate there is in this world, especially now with what's going on in Washington. I hate the president. I hate the Republican Party, with the exception of a few who left the party. And obviously the senator who'd passed away, who Trump made fun of because he was a prisoner of war held captive. And this moron Trump, who never served a day in his life in the military, said a hero is someone who doesn't become a POW. So he criticized him. Even in death, he criticized him when he voted down on his stupid trying to repeal Obama and replace it with something they didn't even have a plan for. This country's messed up right now. And if it continues, I don't want to be a part of it. I'll relinquish my American citizenship and gladly go to Canada or to Ireland, where I can become a citizen if I pursued it and had all the proper documentation, because my mom's parents were born in Ireland. So she's no longer with us, but I would have to get all the paperwork I need. Maybe I'll research it on the internet and apply to become a citizen of Ireland or the UK, England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, because I think it applies to just the UK. Doesn't specifically have to be Ireland, but I would love to live in Ireland. It seems like a beautiful place. Yeah, I don't want to deal with another 4 years of that guy. I want peace and stability. I don't want this craziness anymore. It's like a soap opera every day, a nightmare soap opera. So granted, I just hate people who are ignorant, who don't care about us because they think we're not human, they think we're freaks, you know? Do I look like a freak? You know, I'm a good person. You know, I worked hard. I worked 30 years in the accounting profession. I'm not asking for handouts. I'm not asking for sympathies. I'm not asking for pity. I'm just asking for respect that I deserve. And I'm asking for a chance because I believe that I am a good person worthy of still being a functioning part of society. And I didn't transition to be a woman, to be a hermit. I transitioned to become a woman because that was what I needed to do to be happy. That is something I struggled with my whole life. I didn't want to be miserable for the rest of my life. Sure, I had a job as Eddie. I had friends. I had my sister's approval, but I was miserable. And I didn't want to impose this on anyone. That wasn't my intention. But if you're transgender and you know where I'm coming from, you know that it's not something that you can just snap out of. I struggled with this my whole life, since I was a 3-year-old. And I'm just fed up that there are people who just can't get it and are ignorant, even family. It really makes me angry. So I shed my feelings on that. I'm sorry. And anybody out there who feels the same as I do, or feels frustrated, or needs someone to talk to, let me know. I don't just make these videos for the heck of it. I make them for me, for therapy, but I make them also for maybe someone out there who's struggling like I am. So please, if you have questions, ask me. I'm trying to help I want to help my son, obviously, but if there's someone out there who struggles with their gender, or they're questioning, or they just want to know about depression, bipolar disorder, or how to deal with a family tragedy like suicide, ask me, because I've been through all that, you know? Don't be afraid. I'm a human being. I'm not going to criticize anybody. Just ask me. Post a question on my page. Do something. I'm here. So, that's it. Good luck to everybody. Love you all. Emily. Bye.